Hi, this video is for Wednesday, April 8th for calculus. So today we're going to be talking about geometric sequences. Yesterday we talked about arithmetic sequences, and the difference between the two is that arithmetic sequences, you're adding or subtracting the same thing each time to get the next number, whereas with geometric sequences, you're either multiplying by a whole number or you're multiplying by a fraction each time to get the next number. Okay, so this is the formula for a geometric sequence. Well, one of the formulas. It's the one that we're going to be using today, mostly. Okay, so the first example, we're going to be given a list of numbers, a geometric sequence, and you have to figure out what is the common ratio, because the ratio is what you're multiplying by each time to get the next number. So in this formula here, before we do example 1, this is A1, which I'm sure you're familiar with by now. This is the first term. R is what you're multiplying by each time to get the next number. And N is the term that you're looking for, like say the 35th term. Okay, so now we'll do example 1. Alright, so like I said, we have to identify the common ratio in these problems. So you tell me, what are you multiplying by each time to get the next number? That isn't even right. I'll have to go back and fix that. But okay, so 4, 16, 64, what do you think you're multiplying by each time to get the next number? Hopefully you're thinking 4, so that means that the ratio is 4. And that's it, you found the ratio. Okay, now B says 1, -5, 25, and -125. So as you can see, that's a messed up 5. But besides that, as you can see, we're alternating here between positives and negatives. And when that happens, that means your ratio is a negative number, because each time that you multiply by a negative number, it alternates between positive and negative. So we're multiplying by -5 here, so the ratio is -5. Alright, so that's the first example, finding the ratio. Alright, next you're going to be given a formula, and you're going to have to find the first 3 terms. So you're going to have to plug in the numbers 1, 2, and 3 into the formula and get the first 3 numbers. Okay. So example 2, part A, we have the formula AN equals -2 times 2 to the n minus 1. Alright, so we're going to plug in the numbers 1, 2, and 3 to find the first 3 terms of this sequence. Alright, so A1 is -2 times 2 to the 1 minus 1. Now, you know 1 minus 1 is 0, and anything to the 0 power equals 1. So 2 to the 0 power is going to be 1. This is going to become -2 times 1, which is -2. Okay, we're going to pause for a brief moment, and I'm going to tell you why that shouldn't be a surprise. Because I just told you a moment ago when we had the formula up here on the board that this number should be A1, the first term. And guess what we found out A1 was? -2, and that's -2. That's not a coincidence. Okay? Alright, now A2, -2 times 2 to the 2 minus 1. Alright, so 2 minus 1 is 1. So we're going to have -2 times 2 to the first power. So what is -2 times 2? -4. So A2 is -4. Okay, now that also shouldn't be a surprise, because this number here is the ratio, what you're multiplying by each time to get the next number. So we could have taken our -2 that we found here, multiplied it by 2, and we would have arrived at the next term, negative 4. So we don't have to do it the long way every single time. I have typed it out that way on your notes just so you knew how the math worked. But if you know that this is the ratio right here, you can take your last term, multiply it by the ratio to get the new term. So let's do that on this next one. What would be negative 4 times 2? Well, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, right? And if you check out your notes, I did it the long way and I still got negative 8. So that's right, we've done it. Okay, so the first three terms would be negative 2, negative 4, and negative 8. And on your form, you can just type those three numbers. You don't have to type anything else. Okay? Like, you don't have to type any dots or extra numbers. If it asks for the first three, just list the first three numbers. Okay, so part B, we're going to have this formula, AN equals 3 times 1/2 to the n minus 1. Okay, so let's analyze this formula for a second. A1 should be this number in front of the parentheses. So A1 is going to be 3. This right here is the ratio, so we have to multiply 3 times 1/2 to get the next number. And if you multiply 3 times 1/2, that would be 3 over 2, or 1.5. Okay, so 3 over 2. Alright, now for the third term, we're going to take our 3 over 2 and multiply it by 1/2. So we have 3 over 2 times 1/2. Now, when you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 2 times 2 is 4. And if you check out your notes, those match what I found for the first three terms. 3, 3 over 2, and 3/4. Okay? Alright, so on the very last example, we're going to be given the first term in the ratio, and we'll have to find the next three numbers. So you're going to take the first term, multiply it by the ratio to get the second one. Then you take the second one times the ratio to get the third one. And then the third one times the ratio to get the fourth one. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate. Alright, so example 3, the first problem, A1 is negative 4, and the ratio is 6. So for the second term, we're going to take negative 4 times 6. So negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. Alright, for the third term, we're going to take negative 24 times 6. And negative 24 times 6 is negative 144. Then for the fourth term, we're going to take negative 144 times 6. And negative 144 times 6 is negative 864. So that's how you take the first term and the ratio. You multiply them to find the second term. Then you take the second term times the ratio to get the third one. And ta-da, that's it. Okay, so we're going to have one more problem like that, and then you'll have your Google form to do for the day. So, I hope the videos are still helping and that everything's going okay for you. If it's not, you can send me an email and I'll be happy to help you any way that I can, whether it's with math or life or, whatever. I'm here for you, so don't forget that. Alright, this problem says A1 is 2 and the ratio is negative 1/3. So, for the second term, you're going to take 2 times negative 1/3. And to do that, we're going to take 2 times negative 1, and then the 3 is just chilling out on the bottom, because this is like 2 over 1. So when you multiply them, 2 times negative 1 and 1 times 3. Okay, now next one, negative 2/3 times negative 1/3. So negative 2 times negative 1 is 2, and 3 times 3 is 9. That's a weird 9. I'll write it again. Alright, and in the fourth term, we have 2 over 9 times negative 1/3. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, and 9 times 3 is 27. Okay? So that's it. Now, if you need any help, like I said, let me know. Hopefully that goes well for you. I'm trying to get the lid on my Expo marker. It's not working out. Alright, and spring break is coming up soon. I know that you can't go out and do things like you would want, but hopefully you can spend some time with family or friends, as long as you're not in a huge group, obviously. But spring break will hopefully give you a chance to get caught up on all of your work if you're not totally caught up with it. It'll also give you a chance to maybe take a break from working on all this online. So, I hope you're well, and I miss you. Bye.